Hello, people. It's me, John Avenger again. What's up? I came up with this idea a long time ago because I just saw Expendables 3 last week and it just disappointed me and it was horrible. So I just decided to do a random video. This is over 100 action movies that are better than the Expendables 3, and this is all my opinion. There's some movies that are not going to be on this list because I don't own them, but I know they're better. Like some honorable mentions will be the Rambo films. I don't have any of the Rambo films, but I know they're better than Expendables 3. And there's a couple of other films too that I saw. Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I count superhero films as action movies because there's action in it, and there's a lot of stuff to it. It's in the same genre. I know superhero films are their own thing, but they have action. It counts. But those are just some honorable mentions. Some of those movies are not on DVD or Blu-ray yet, anyway. But these are over 100 movies that I have that I feel are better than Expendables 3. I don't want this to be 3 hours, so I'm gonna get through these films as fast as I can. First off, the first Expendables. You can't beat this one. The critics have said the third one is the best one. Bullshit. This is the best one. It was R-rated. It was badass. It was action-packed. It had a fast pace, and it was a simple plot that worked. And nothing can beat this one. This crew kicked ass, and the last 30 minutes of this film are better than the two sequels combined. That's for damn sure. So Expendables for the win. The first one. That's it. The Transporter with Jason Statham, one of his first big action films that he did in the U.S. This movie kicks ass. It's very fast paced. It's got a hot Asian girl. It's got a simple plot. It's short. It's like 90 something minutes, 92 minutes. It goes by quick, and it's not disappointing. And it's very well directed for an action movie. Who directed this? Corey Yuen. It's a lot better than Patrick Hughes, and I know this movie's better. It's PG-13 too, so that's not an excuse for Expendables 3. This one did it right the first time. Transporter 2, awesome sequel, very short. It's like 87 minutes. It's even shorter than the first one, but it's just as action-packed. And I know overseas they have an unrated version. It's probably even better. This movie kicks ass. Statham is his best. You get to see what he does. It's a movie it's a way ahead of its time. Uh, what was who directed this? Louis Leterrier, the same guy that did Incredible Hulk. This movie was awesome. This is one hell of a ride. I agree. It's a sequel that is better than Expendables 3. Crank 2, High Voltage. Very crazy sequel to the first one. I haven't seen the first one. That'll be an honorable mention once I see it. But this movie was awesome. It's R-rated. It's balls to the wall. It's over the top. It's cartoonish at times, but it gives you what you want. It's got an adrenaline rush that I did not get with Expendables 3, and it kicks the ass of Expendables 3. That's for sure. Once again, Statham for the win. Taken, the first and the only good Taken film. Screw the second one, and I don't look forward to the third one because I know they're gonna mess it up. But this one done by Pierre Morel, he knows how to direct an action movie. And Liam Neeson is awesome. It's fast paced, it's short, it's to the point, it's bloody, and it is PG-13, but it does it right. When you do a PG-13, go balls to the wall, don't pussify it, don't tone it down, do like this film did, and you can learn from this film, definitely. Another Pierre Morel film that was awesome. From Paris with Love, another action movie that's better than Expendables 3. It's R-rated, which Expendables 3 isn't. It's got John Travolta, a kick-ass lead that still got it. It's got a lot of action. It's short and to the point. See, you don't need a movie to be 2 hours to get to the point. An hour and a half, you get us through the ride. It's awesome. From Paris with Love, better than Expendables 3. I recently bought this, and I'll show it in my next DVD update again. The Raid Redemption. This is a foreign film that freaking works. The action is much better. There's no shaky cam. It's kind of lengthy a little bit. It's like 101 minutes, but it's a lot shorter than Expendables 3. And it has no names in it, and it's a better movie. And I love this movie. I saw this movie back in 2012 on cable for like $2. It was worth it. I bought the DVD for $5, and I want to hear the commentary. Garrett Edwards knows how to direct the movie, so The Raid Redemption is way better than Expendables 3. Escape from New York, an awesome 80s classic from John Carpenter. He knows how to do action, okay? This guy has been doing action movies and horror films way before anybody in the 2010s. This movie was awesome. You got Kurt Russell, who is absolutely amazing as Snake Plissken. He's a memorable character. There's nobody memorable in Expendables 3 that's new. This is a memorable character. And it's too bad they didn't get Kurt Russell for the film because he would have kicked ass a lot better than Victor Ortiz and Glenn Powell and freaking Ronda Rousey, who can suck my dick. This movie was awesome. It's a classic for a reason. It does not need a remake. Don't touch the original. You're not going to top this. And it's better than Expendables 3, and it's from over 20 years ago. Universal Soldier, one of Van Damme's best films. A sci-fi action film that works. It's an R-rated film that still holds up very well. I saw this film a couple years ago, and it's still awesome. You know, there's a reason that these movies are considered classics by a lot of people on YouTube and on IMDb and everything. Check the rating. It's better than Expendables 3. And once again, the running time, 102 minutes. It's not 116 minutes. So, the first Universal Soldier, awesome. My favorite superhero film of all time. And yes, the action in the last 30 minutes are mind-blowing and is way better than Expendables 3. The Avengers, yes. Love this movie. I already told you how much I love this film. I look forward to the sequel, which is going to have a lot more action. PG-13 and has blood and a lot of action, and it does not pussify the film. The fight with Thor and Cap and Thor and Iron Man in the freaking forest or whatever in the park is better than Expendables 3. It's not shaky cam. You know what's going on, and it's the most badass thing you can see in the film. One of the most badass things, and it's better than Expendables 3. A for effort and A for a freaking kick-ass movie. So there, in your face, Expendables 3. Now, these films, X-Men and X-Men 2. The action in this film is better than Expendables 3. It's got blood, it has balls, it does things right. You know, you get to see the action. There's no. This is when action movies it didn't have shaky cam and they had some balls when they actually tried superhero films that weren't 2.5 hours of boredom. This film, you know, X-Men 1 is 104 minutes, still shorter than Expendables 3. This one, 134 minutes, over 2 hours long, and it's not boring. And it has a PG-13 rating, but it goes for it, and it still holds up well. There's some silly things in it, but I'd rather take this than any of the humor in Expendables 3. It doesn't have an annoying Antonio Banderas in it. So there. Here's a couple of Van Damme films. Death Warrant, In Hell, Wake of Death, Hard Target, right there, the theatrical cut of Hard Target, Showdown Little Tokyo, Bloodsport, and hell, I'll do these other ones, and Double Impact. All of these films are better than Expendables 3. They're not pussified PG-13 films. They're all R-rated. They're balls to the wall action when it's there. In Hell was more like a crime drama in a way, but it's still better than Expendables 3. I had to do over 100 films because you know, in total this was like over 110, but yeah, you get the point though. These are better. These Van Damme films, Double Team, on balls to the wall action movie that's crazy and it knows what it is. Maximum Risk with him and that gorgeous Natasha Henstridge. Until Death, which is he plays an anti-hero that is very well done. The other one that I took out because it was freaking what was it called? Not Bullet to the Head. Assassination Games, which was terrible. But these are better than Expendables 3. You know, it's not hard to do an action movie nowadays. You know, Patrick Hughes, you can direct when it comes to wide shots and stuff, but you can't. You shake the camera too much, and you don't know how to direct actors. These people knew how to direct, and they know how to do it well, and they know how to do films with action that's bloody instead of a toned down PG-13. Cradle to the Grave, Jet Li, that actually does something, and you know whatchamacallit, DMX, who I don't hate in the film. This film has better action than Expendables 3. It's R-rated. You see what's going on. It has strong violence in it. The fight scenes are much better. Jet Li's fight at the end with Mark Dacascos is better than anything in Expendables 3. It's not 30 seconds long, like the fight with Mel Gibson and Stallone. And I don't remember the one-liners here, but guarantee you it's better than Expendables 3. Okay, the first Kickboxer, better than Expendables 3. You know, you got Van Damme in his prime, kicking ass in a fighting tournament, and you see what's better. You see it's better. The film just it has a faster pace, and you know Van Damme in Kickboxer does not need a remake because we don't. You're not gonna top the original. The remakes nowadays hardly ever touch the original because the original's better. This is better than Expendables 3. It's plain and simple. The first Mission Impossible. This was PG-13 back in 1996, and it is still. It feels like an R-rated film because there's blood in it. It has curse words. It's not toned down, and Tom Cruise kicks ass. It's the first one. I still think is one of the best action movies from the 90s, and I'm not just nostalgic. They're better. See this film. There's no shaky cam, and it still works today. And it's 110 minutes, almost as long as Expendables 3, and it's better. In your face. Next, my opinion, I know some of these people will disagree with me, but I don't care. I saw this in the theater in IMAX and it blew me away. Mission Impossible: The Ghost Protocol. This movie was awesome. It's PG-13 and it actually works. I saw this with my mom and my sister and they enjoyed it. This movie is better than Expendables 3. There's no shaky cam. You know, you can actually see what's going on. Yeah, the villain is weak, but I'll take a weak villain in an awesome movie compared to a movie that sucks like Expendables 3 that has a good villain that you know could have done more and doesn't have shitty dialogue. So this movie is awesome. See this instead of Expendables 3. Death Before Dishonor. It's a lead Fred Dryer, who I never heard of, which is an awesome movie. It's R-rated. It's short. It's like 93 minutes. And it's from the 80s, I think, or the early 90s. It doesn't say here. In 86. And it's from almost 30 years ago, and it's better than Expendables 3. This guy's a mercenary. He's a badass. He doesn't have to get toned down and look for young people. No. He can do it all on his own. He's a badass like Rambo, and it's better than Expendables 3. If you have not seen this movie, see it over that piece of garbage. Some of Seagal's early work. Marked for Death. Awesome movie. It's only film I think he did for 20th Century Fox. I'll take this. It says here, smart piece of hard action filmmaking, terrific energy and flair. Yeah, something that a lot of action movies today don't have. And I wish that these action movies today had hard action. You know, blood that you can actually see that's not CG. Action scenes that are not shaky cam like this. Movies that have good cinematography and badass one-liners and an awesome lead in Seagal when he was in his prime. I still think even some of his direct-to-video stuff is better than Expendables 3. But this was in theaters, so it's awesome. Out for Justice. I don't know why Expendables 3 couldn't take notes from this movie. This film is 91 minutes and has a great lead. The villain is William Forsythe, who is better than Mel Gibson in this film. I know he was, you know, Mel Gibson was trying, but William Forsythe, to me, whenever he plays a villain, he's just awesome because he knows how to act. And he doesn't let shitty dialogue hold him down in an action movie. This is pure adrenaline, I agree. It's my favorite Seagal film. It's right up there with like the first Under Siege, which I'm going to get to in a little while. But better than Expendables 3. Harrison Ford, one of the best things in Expendables 3, but this is a better film in overall. Air Force One. Badass movie from the late 90s. I saw this when I was like 12 years old. I know I wasn't supposed to, but I don't care. I saw it with my dad. I loved it back then. I saw it a couple years later, and I still love it. Gary Oldman is a good villain. This is before he lost his mind and did a bunch of stuff and did American accents and everything. But this movie is awesome, and it's better than Expendables 3. Harrison Ford for the win, man. He's good in almost everything. My favorite Bond film, and to me, is better than Expendables 3, and it was PG-13. Oh, it's too dark. License to Kill. Timothy Dalton kicks ass. Carrie Lowell is the most beautiful Bond girl I've ever seen. It has a fast pace, and some of these Bond films are over 2 hours long, and they're still better than Expendables 3. This 133 minutes. Didn't feel it at all. The only thing, and Robert Davi actually was used right here. In Expendables 3, he's in the film for 2 minutes. Here, he's the villain for the whole film, and he's awesome and intimidating. This is how you do it right, man. PG-13 done the right way. Sorry about that. That's just, the webcam is old. Sometimes it blacks out. Another film with The Rock, who never did an Expendables film. I'm glad he didn't because it's dead now. The Rundown, 2003 film with him and Sean William Scott, who had good chemistry. That's another thing that the Expendables 3 didn't have. The new Bees had no chemistry with the older actors. This film did. It's PG-13 as well. Has a great villain in freaking Christopher Walken. See, back in the 80s and the 90s and even in the 2000s, they casted good actors to play the villain. Sometimes they misfired, like Timothy Olyphant in Live Free or Die Hard. But this one is awesome, better than Expendables 3. See this. Skip Expendables 3, please. I'm glad it's bombing. It deserves it. Here's another film that I saw. Crash Landing, right here. It's better than Expendables 3. It's R-rated. It's got one of my favorite underrated action stars, Antonio Sabato Jr. It's from 2004. It's like 88 minutes long, and it doesn't pussify the action. When it's there, it's there, and I think it's an underrated action thriller from the 2000s. It's low budget, but it's a lot better than the bullshit CGI in Expendables 3. So check out Crash Landing. You won't be disappointed. Both of these, American Ninja 2 and American Ninja 3. Even though 3 is not the greatest, it's better than 4 and 5 and is better than Expendables 3. Both of these films are R-rated and they're under 2 hours long. It gets to the point. You don't need a freaking Oscar-worthy plot to be a good action movie. You know that. Okay? These films are awesome. I'll mention the first American Ninja. It's better. Dudikoff should have been in Expendables 3 or 2 or even in the first one. He's better than Kalen Lutz and Liam Hemsworth and freaking Glenn Powell and freaking Ronda Rousey and Victor Ortiz and Antonio Banderas. I'm saying it right now. Better than all of those people combined. He's more badass. And even this guy, what's his name? David Bradley, still better. Because he can actually fight. So there. Enough said. Another movie that's better than Expendables 3. And this is PG-13. Only drawback is Zoe Saldana, who I think the only film I really like her in is Guardians of the Galaxy. But this one is awesome. The Losers. Chris Evans alone is better than any of the newbies. Freaking Jeffrey D. Morgan I really enjoyed. This black guy, what was his name? Not Jason Patrick. I think it's Columbus Short. He's a good actor. I like him better than freaking Wesley Snipes was good, but he was underused. And this movie was fast-paced, and it's short, 97 minutes. And it got me through the ride real quick. Losers is not a loser compared to Expendables 3. Death Wish 2, 3, and 4. Better than Expendables 3. They're all R-rated. They got some balls. They got a dark tone, and they know what they are. And they're short. I keep saying that. These films, none of these films are 2 hours. These films, like half of them are like 90 minutes or 80 minutes. Gets to the point. And Death Wish 3 alone, the whole finale is more badass than anything in the finale of Expendables 3. So there. Tekken. I am interested in seeing the second one, even if it's not as good as this one. The fight scenes alone are better than Expendables 3. There's actually martial arts in the film. There's no BS CGI. You got a decent lead with this guy. What was his name? John Fu, I think his name is. Yeah, or Kung Lee or something like that. It gets to the point. It's really short. It's 91 minutes. Without credits, it's like 80 something minutes. It gets you through the ride. It's a really good video game adaptation. And for the fighting, it's just like in the game. That's all I cared about. I didn't care about all the hero becomes a villain and the villain becomes a hero and blah blah blah. No, just fighting tournament, awesome. Got the characters from the game, and it's got better action than Expendables 3. This is a given. Die Hard, one of the greatest '80s classics of all time. It's a great movie. It has lived through over 20 years of BS action movies that we get nowadays, and it still holds up well, and it's 100 times better than Expendables 3. And all of the Die Hard sequels. 2. Die Harder, awesome, R-rated, balls to the wall action. better than Expendables 3. 2 hours and 4 minutes, and it goes by quick. My favorite Die Hard sequel, and my favorite Die Hard. I love the first one, but this is my favorite because I've seen it a lot, and just it blows me away more. Die Hard with a Vengeance, better than Expendables 3. It's a third movie that actually works, and they didn't tone it down. And it's got a great villain. Live for Your Die Hard. This was PG-13 when it was first released in theaters. I saw it last year, and it was the PG-13 cut, and it's still badass, and it doesn't tone down the rating. The only thing they took out was Yippee Ki Mother, and they took it out in the PG-13 version. But the unrated version, it feels like an R-rated film, and it's better than Expendables 3. You want to know who was a newbie in this film that worked? Maggie Q. Maggie Q is more gorgeous, more badass, and a better fighter than Ronda Rousey. If she fought Ronda Rousey, her freaking heel could break her freaking face. And I'm not gonna tell that. I'm not gonna take that back. Maggie Q, I would give her. I would do anything to be with her compared to Ronda Rousey. She is just not a good actress at all. And this movie kicks ass. Action scenes, all of them, even the CG, is better than Expendables 3. This movie that got so much shit from critics and from people here on YouTube, and they said, oh, it's one of the worst things I've ever seen. Hey, compared to Expendables 3, it's a masterpiece. Good Day to Die Hard. I never hated this movie. I like Bruce Willis. I like Jai Courtney. And it's short, and the action is still better than Expendables 3. And this wasn't PG-13. It was R-rated. You got to see blood, and it cursed in it, and they cursed in it, and they didn't hold back. John Moore, yeah, he's a crappy director, and so is the writer Skip Woods, the script was definitely flawed. But I'll take the flaws in this over Expendables 3. This movie flopped. I don't know why. It's an awesome movie. It's a movie that came out in September and it was overlooked, but it's more badass than Expendables 3. Shoot 'em up. Awesome lead. Clive Owen with his carrot killing people is much better than anything in Expendables 3. Monica Bellucci, who I think is absolutely gorgeous. Anything she's in, you just look at her, you're like, wow, she is the most beautiful Italian woman I've ever seen. That's from Italy. This guy, Paul Giamatti, who was actually used here, compared to in Amazing Spider-Man 2, that he's in the film for like 2 minutes. Or 5 minutes at most. He's a good villain. He has a great rapport with Clive Owen. And the film is bloody, and it's over the top and cartoonish and in a great way. And it's fun, and it's short. It's 86 minutes. And this doesn't get a sequel, but we get Expendables 3, which is a piece of garbage. And it has toned down violence. This is the violence you want to see in an action movie. That's Action the Movie. Rambo put it best. That's how you say it. Tango and Cash. Stallone in one of the best films from the late 80s, early 90s. Him and Kurt Russell had some great chemistry. It's part crime thriller and action movie, and it's really, really fast paced. 104 minutes, didn't even feel it. It felt like 90 minutes. See, when a movie's good, the runtime just goes by and you don't even feel it. This is a prime example, and it's awesome. Rambo is a pussy. That's better than any one-liner in Expendables 3. Cobra. Awesome action movie. Oh, it's cheesy? No, it's not. This is an awesome movie. I love this movie. I heard the commentary. It's not the greatest, but I will take this over Expendables 3 any day of the week. It's from over 20 years ago. It's from 1986 or 1987. This is where the law stops, and I start. Sucker. Awesome. Crime is a disease, and I'm the cure. Better than I am the hedge or whatever. This is better. See this. Disregard Expendables 3. It does not exist to me compared to this. Both of these. The Fugitive and U.S. Marshals. Yes, I recently saw U.S. Marshals. I thought it was freaking awesome. It's long, but I didn't feel it. The only thing you could have cut from the film was a love interest for Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes was actually used right here. Tommy Lee Jones is better than a lot of the newbies. Robert Downey Jr. is a good bad guy in the middle of the film. Fugitive as well. Freaking Harrison Ford, once again, good actor that does a good job, and it's fast paced, and it's long. It's 130 minutes, but I didn't feel it that much at all. When a film is well directed, I'm gonna give it props over anything from now. This steelbook that I had for a year now, The Incredible Hulk, PG-13, and it does not hold back. The fight scene alone at the end with them and the Abomination is more exciting than anything in Expendables 3. It didn't have stupid, goofy humor in it. It was a fight to the bitter end. Hulk kicks the crap out of the Abomination and says, Hulk smash! Better than anything in Expendables 3. Okay? And you could take that to the bank. Cliffhanger. Awesome movie. Does not need a remake. This movie was done right the first time. Stallone did a great job. John Lithgow was a great villain. It has really good locations. It actually has a rock climber that actually is doing it, and it's not a freaking CGI figure. It's Stallone and a stunt double that actually does great stunt work. And the movie is like, what is it, like 100 minutes or something like that? I don't know. It says 118 minutes. Almost the same running time of Expendables 3, and it's better, and it's R-rated, and it doesn't hold back, and you always see what's going on. There's no shaky cam. It's a guy climbing a mountain, and it has a lot of awesome action in it when it's there, and blood, which is good, always good to see in an action movie. Sorry about that. This is the original. Screw the remake. It can't top it. Total Recall. Great, one of the best Arnold films ever. Arnold is absolutely awesome in this. They actually use him right. Unlike Expendables 3, that he's barely in the film and he only does stuff at the end. It's one of the best movies that he's done. It did not need to be remade. Arnold films never need a remake. It does not need an update. Maybe a sequel with him, but in his prime. But this movie's awesome, and it's like 113 minutes. Almost like 3 minutes short of being the same running time as Expendables 3, and it works. It works. And the visuals still look good to this day. Okay, these films. Under Siege, The Glimmer Man, and Above the Law. Fire Down Below, it's alright. It's okay. But the 3 out of 4 of these are better than Expendables 3. They're all R-rated. Seagal's films are barely PG-13. But they're awesome despite that. Seagal in his prime, a lot of his films are awesome. Under Siege is 103 minutes. Didn't feel it. The Glimmer Man, 92 minutes. Didn't feel it. Above the Law, 99 minutes. Didn't feel it. Even Fire Down Below, which I think it's alright. It's 105 minutes. But I'll take it over the BS and Expendables 3. Under Siege 2. Under Siege 2 is a great sequel. It gets crapped on by people, but it's way better than Expendables 3. The train scenes in this, it's a real practical train. It's not a CG train, and it looks great. And I don't even mind Katherine Heigl, who a lot of people hate now. But back in the 90s, she was beautiful, young, and she actually did some decent films. Nowadays, she has a lot of duds, but sometimes she can, come up with something decent, like Knocked Up, I heard was pretty good. But it's an awesome action movie. I don't really remember the villain too much. I think it was Dorian from The Mask. Awesome movie, and even that's better than Expendables 3. Hard to Kill. Awesome Seagal film in his prime. I didn't think that Kelly LeBrock, I could take her or leave her, but the action is better than Expendables 3. William Sandler alone as a villain is better than Robert Davi, who's underused, and Mel Gibson, who is good, but he could have done more. Men of War. Yeah, I liked Mask of Death. I hated Best of the Best 3 because it wasn't what it was supposed to be, and Driven to Kill is decent. But Men of War, I saw it a couple years ago, and it's got better action than Expendables 3. Dolph actually does something in the film. The only thing that bothered me was the love interest. I don't think she was needed, but I'll see it again and skip the love interest scenes and just get to the action. It's good action. It's done well, and it didn't even get a release in theaters in the U.S. Perry Lang, better director than Patrick Hughes. Art of War, an awesome Wesley Snipes film. You want to see Wesley do more in a not toned down fashion? This is it. And it's the same running time as Expendables 3. 116 minutes. I didn't even feel it, man. I didn't even feel it. And it's R-rated. Doesn't hold back. It's got drug content, which I don't even think was in the Expendables 3. And Wesley Snipes is one of his best films from the early 2000s after Blade. Terminator 2, one of the greatest action movies, period. Can never be topped. I love the original as well, but this is one of the best action movies I've ever seen, and I saw this when I was 8 years old. And badass. The visuals still work. This movie still holds up very well. Arnold, this is at the top of his game. This movie, just everything about it just blows my mind. I can't believe they did it with the budget that they did, and the budget wasn't over $100 million. And this was 1991. And I can still watch this movie, and I have a smile on my face. As soon as it starts, I get just chills, because I'm like, wow, this movie's epic. And it does not need the fifth one will not top this. This is the best Terminator film ever. Overrated, maybe, but a great movie to me. And it deserves all the praise it got. And it's better than Expendables 3. It's a sequel done right. Okay, these three films. I'll do it faster because I don't want this to be an hour. Lethal Weapon 1, 2, and 3. Even 3. Wait, well, that's 2. Sorry about that. Wait. 3. Better than Expendables 3. 121 minutes. It's longer, but it works. And the girl in this movie is absolutely gorgeous. Renee Russo in this one film is better than anything Ronda Rousey's done in her entire life. And I'm gonna take that with a grain of salt, because she kicks ass with a pair of jeans on, not with a dress, not with freaking army pants, with jeans. And she's hot to trot in this movie. I've always found Renee Russo to be sexy. And Mel Gibson at his best in these three films. I like the fourth one. I think it's decent. It definitely has some problems, but I can take that over Expendables 3 because it's R-rated. And Jet Li does more. This Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me, awesome Bond movie, and it's better than Expendables 3, and it didn't even have the budget of Expendables 3. From 1977, the year Star Wars came out, 2 hours and 5 minutes. Very entertaining stuff. Just the production on this was fantastic. Roger Moore, awesome. I'm glad he'll never do an Expendables. He's like in his 80s now, and he's got diabetes. But, you know, hang in there, Roger Moore. I still watch your movies. I watch the Bond films that you've done, and you've done some great work. Awesome, and you've done all of your Bond films, even the worst ones, are better than Expendables 3. Behind Enemy Lines, the only really good film that John Moore has done that he didn't shake the camera. Gene Hackman is great, Owen Wilson is great, and it's better than Expendables 3. I can see what's going on, and the action's good, and it's a long movie. It's not 105 minutes. Didn't even feel it. That's all I can say. This one, Running Scared with Paul Walker. Rest in peace, man. I'm so sorry that you died before Fast and the Furious 7. People should care more about what happened to you than the freaking movie. Because this movie is going to be better than that and Expendables 3. R-rated, and it doesn't hold back. But they did not. When Paul Walker gets beat up in this film, you feel it. It's not toned down. And especially since he's gone, no longer with us, you feel it even more. I'm going to see this probably for his would-be 40-year-old birthday. I miss you, man. We love you. I'm glad you did not do Expendables 3. I'm glad you didn't do Expendables 2. I'm glad you didn't do a lot of these toned down stuff, because I want to see Fast 6, you know, in your memory, man, because you will live on. Expendables 3 to me is dead. Dead in the water. Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2. PG-13 people, not R-rated, and they're still better than Expendables 3. They have problems. They're not the greatest adaptations of Spider-Man, but I will take these over Expendables 3. This Green Goblin is better than the villain in Expendables 3, and this one, the action is mind-blowing, especially the train scene. Another train scene that had CG that was done well. Oh my God, who knew? Blade, one of Wesley Snipes' best films. R-rated. When he cuts people, you see the blood. You don't see, oh, they did an edit. No, you see it, and the blood is there. And the blade, when the blade hits the flesh, you really feel it. Yeah, there's some shoddy CGI, but it's still better. Steven Dorff, great villain. Freaking fast pace, and it's from how long is it? I don't know. 2 hours. Didn't even feel it, and it's better than Expendables 3. Even the Blade sequels are better. Another film with Dolph that's awesome. Command performance better than Expendables 3. This wasn't even in theaters, and I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. Dolph directed this. He did a great job directing. It's fast paced. It's short. It's to the point, and it's got a sexy girl as a a Melissa. What was it? What's her name? Melissa Malasaro or something like that. Melanaro. Beautiful Canadian Italian actress, and she can actually act compared to freaking Ronda Rousey. Yeah, I'm gonna keep knocking her because I don't care for her at all. All of these films, Dead Bang, Last Boy Scout, and Action Jackson, all R-rated, all fast-paced, great, really good, fun action movies. That's what I want. I want fun. I don't want talky, annoyance, and exposition up the wazoo. I want action. Give me the action. If it's done right, I'll give you the pass. Red and Red 2. Yes, Red 2 is not as good as the first one, but I still enjoy it, and I laughed more than Expendables 3. Both of these are better. This was the better one, but I still think this is funny, and I like the cast, and even the newbies are better. Freaking Catherine Zeta-Jones and Anthony Hopkins, who's great in everything, even if the movie's garbage, and Boo Hung Lee. He does more than Jet Li in Expendables 3. He does. Okay, more. Let's keep going. I don't want this to be an hour. This is probably my longest video ever. RoboCop, the original. The remake is garbage. I hated it. It's the worst movie I've seen this year, and I'll talk about that at the end of the year. And RoboCop 2. R-rated, not toned down. You see the action. It's there. It's plentiful. This is 17 minutes or something like that. It's longer than Expendables 3, and yet it's better. These films alone are better. The blood is there, and the action's there, and it's over the top, and it's very, very well done. Arnold's last good film that flopped, that did not deserve to flop, because it's better than Expendables 3, The Last Stand. I cared more about his team. It had blood in it. It was R-rated. 107 minutes. It goes by pretty quick. And, I'll say it right now. Arnold was actually utilized very well, even though there's some scenes without him. When he's there and he's using the shotgun and he's blowing guys away, you actually feel it. It's not toned down. At least it wasn't toned down. I can give that to this movie. Better than Expendables 3 by miles away. Predator, one of Arnold's best, better than Expendables 3. Get to the chopper. This is where it existed from. If it wasn't for this movie, that line would have never been in the movie. And Arnold is awesome in this. The original Terminator. It's more like an action horror flick, but it works, man. This is when James Cameron gave a shit about his movies and didn't just throw tons of CGI. Visuals still work. Still dark tone. The dark tone is still awesome. And the effects are better than anything in Expendables 3. Enter the Dragon, a 70s film with Bruce Lee. I'm so sad it's sad he's no longer with us. This movie still holds up well. I saw this as a kid, and the action is way better than Expendables 3. Bruce Lee knew how to do everything on his own. He didn't need CG or stuntman or anything. He knew what he was doing, and I miss him, and I'm glad that I have this movie to see it in his honor. Iron Man, great movie. Doesn't start with a lot of action, but when it comes, it is absolutely awesome. I even enjoyed the sequels. Sue me. I love Iron Man as a character. He was great in Avengers. I can't wait to see him in Avengers 2, and he kicks the crap out of anybody in Expendables 3. The Crow, awesome movie. Just a dark tone. I miss Brandon Lee. He would have been an awesome Expendable. I know that. And this movie is a darker tone. 101 minutes, didn't feel it. Awesome movie, and the action's better than Expendables 3. This sequel that gets crapped on by everybody, Escape from LA, awesome movie, and is better than Expendables 3. And I think the action is done very well for the 1996. And I'm sorry this flopped. It deserves better than Expendables 3. Let me keep on going because this is going to take forever. The Tournament. An awesome movie done well by Scott Mann, who knew what he was doing. You got Robert Carlyle, who's awesome in the movie. You got Kelly Hu, who I always enjoyed. Ving Rhames, still used more than Terry Crews in Expendables 3, and it's better. Just saying. No features, though, which is a shame. The Living Daylights, another Bond film with Timothy Dalton that was awesome. I thought the action was done well. It actually has a budget. It doesn't have bad CG. It's got good stunt work. It's got a fast pace. It works. When it works damn well. Forced to Kill is one of the PM Entertainment films that I have. Those have action on the budgets of, they have less than $5 million in a budget, and it's done well. It's cheaper, but it's done well. When I want to see action, I want to see it. I don't want to see the camera shaking. I don't want to see a toned down violent scene. I don't want to see freaking bad edits. I want to see the action. And when it's R-rated, it's the best because you can see everything when it's done right. Casino Royale. Awesome Bond film from the new generation. Daniel Craig does a great job. It's fast-paced. It's really long, but I really, really thought this was awesome. PG-13 as well, and it's better than Expendables 3. These two films, Bounty Hunters and Bounty Hunters 2, Hardball. Two great leads in Michael Dudikoff and Lisa Howard. They got great chemistry. The action is really good, and I enjoyed myself with both of them. But Bounty Hunters 2 is a great sequel compared to Expendables 3. It's a masterpiece in comparison, and it's R-rated, and it's short. It's like 97 minutes. Didn't even feel it. Both of these, Black Scorpion and Black Scorpion 2, R-rated, not toned down at all. And I love Joan Severance as a lead. She can kick the crap out of Ronda Rousey, and she barely knows martial arts, but when she can, if she ever did, she would still be better, and I like her better. She's a great lead. Sexy, good actress, and can fight when she needs to. That's what I love about a woman in a movie like that. Speaking of which, Cynthia Rothrock, Lady Dragon, Tiger Claws 2. Awesome movies, R-rated, better than Expendables 3, and she actually can fight. And she still can do it. Even in her 50s, she still can do it, man. She can still fight. Let me hurry up. Torque. Very over-the-top action movie that I enjoyed with Ice Cube. And I'll say this, I'd rather watch this than Expendables 3 or Ride Along, because it was awesome. Very crazy, but awesome. The Marine 3, Homefront. Better than the first Marine, and this is a third film that's better than Expendables 3. I like The Miz better than a lot of the newbies, because he's in his 30s, but he actually does a good job as a lead, and I like this movie. Underrated. Eraser with Arnold. Yes, some of the CG's not the best, but it's better than Expendables 3. Enough said. The Killing Machine, aka Icarus. Dolph does a great job, and he's very awesome. Even older, he still kicks ass in this movie. He is the Killing Machine, and they didn't use him, they underused him in Expendables 3. The Order and Nowhere to Run with Van Damme. Prime example of the two films done very well that are better than Expendables 3. These films, I'll say these two, Knockoff and Universal Soldier: The Return. Very fast-paced action films. You see what's going on. They don't need to be a freaking novel. They get to the point, and Van Damme does great in both of them. He has a smile on his face, and he's actually having fun, and it's well-directed, and it's awesome fun. Better than Expendables 3. Scorpion King. I recently saw this a couple months ago. I think it's absolutely awesome. PG-13, but I don't feel like it's toned down at all. And has partial nudity with Kelly Hu just, once again, yum yum yum. Beautiful woman. Also, even the villain I don't think was that bad. Stephen Brand, I think his name was. Yeah, I think it was named. But it's still, Chuck Russell did a good job with this. He knows how to direct a freaking movie. And he did great. This is the only good Scorpion King movie. That's for sure. Equilibrium, right here. Awesome movie. It was crazy, dystopian society with people that don't show emotion, but when you see the action, it's crazy. It's like an anime, fast paced, and it's better than Expendables 3. Christian Bale for the win without that crazy Batman voice. Direct action and stolen. Those are better than Expendables 3. I said it right now. Nicolas Cage is a crazy actor, but he knows how to. When he does a good job, he does a good job. Direct action with Dolph. If you skip the opening credits because they show most of the good action there, the action's really plentiful and it's really good. So those are better than Expendables 3. Okay, these are the last pile. Good. I thought I was gonna be here for 3 hours. Sorry about that. T-Force, awesome sci-fi film from the PM Entertainment from the 90s that I thought was very entertaining, better than Expendables 3, and it's got Jack Scalia, who I think is a really good actor. And it's 103 minutes. Didn't even feel it. When I don't feel it, it's actually a good thing because when I feel a running time and it's dragging and it feels overlong, it hurts, literally. But it's better than Expendables 3. Shakedown with Peter Weller and with Sam Elliott. Better than Expendables 3. I would highly recommend it. See it on YouTube, buy the DVD, just watch this. This is 80s action done right. Broken Arrow. 90s film that works. John Travolta's great. Christian Slater's great. And you got Samantha Mathis's gorgeous voice in this movie. And her face, of course, from the Super Mario Brothers movie. I love her. I really think she's beautiful. She still is. And this movie's awesome. It does the action well, and it's better than Expendables 3. This is a fun movie. I can't see this right now because I don't have a DVD player from overseas, but the 51st State, aka Formula 51, a Ronnie Yu film that I thought was actually pretty fun. Besides Freddy vs. Jason, it's got a great lead with Robert Carlyle and Samuel Jackson, two great leads. Gorgeous Emily Mortimer. This is the most beautiful I've ever seen her in, and she's British, I know, but she's just gorgeous. I love watching her in films, and it's over the top, and it's better than Expendables 3. Yeah, all these films, and I even include the third one, Beverly Hills Cop 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I'll see this over Expendables 3 because it made me laugh. Even though it's different and it's not as good as the first two, I will take this over Expendables 3 because it's R-rated and it was funny and I like Eddie Murphy. It's not the worst film he's done. He's done plenty worse than this. And the first two films, funny, over the top, and the action when it's there, it works very well. Split Second. This is the official DVD. This movie was awesome. Rutger Hauer for the win. He should have been a villain in Expendables 3. Or at least, a member like Harrison Ford. He would have been awesome. He kicks ass in this movie, and the creature does more damage than any of the villains in Expendables 3, including Mel Gibson and even his henchmen. Yeah, it's more memorable, and it works. It still works. Give him Home Alone. Thomas Jane, I'm so sad that you were taken out a bullet to the head. You would have done better than that other guy, Son Kane, who can't act his way out of a paper bag. And this movie's better than Expendables 3. It's like if Inspector Gadget or Dick Tracy was R-rated, and it works very, very well. And finally, we get to the last film that I think is better than Expendables 3. It blew me away. This is an 8-pack, but it's the one that's that I really enjoyed. That is Super Cop, right there. Better than Expendables 3. It's R-rated. Jackie Chan does all of his own stunts. I think Michelle Yeoh is it in it? Yeah, it says Michelle Khan, but it's Michelle Yeoh. Does a really good job with Jackie Chan. The action is very, very mind-blowing. I mean, there's a reason it's considered one of the greatest Jackie Chan films ever made, and I agree. And Jackie Chan, I'm glad he said no to Expendables 3. He knew the script was shitty, and that he would probably have been underused, just like Jet Li, but that's better. So those are over 100 movies. You see, in my pile of movies that are better than Expendables 3, and there's so many more, but I want to cut this because I know it's long. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you watch a lot of these movies. Skip Expendables 3, just go watch the first one and watch any of these films. I guarantee you they're better. R-rated, fast-paced, fun, and they are action-packed. That's all I can say. So see you guys later and enjoy your day.